to avert one's eyes from it. Oh yeah. Very well. He does want the truth. He's changed. He doesn't just want a guilty verdict. He wants to expose the reality of what truly happened. I love it. Very well, the court shall grant the prosecution's request. That's okay with you, right, Chief Gant? Worthy. You'll live to regret this, mark my words. Miss Emma Skye, please take the stand. Looks like Edgeworth has decided to take the horse by the reins. Edgeworth is so good. Now then, witness, please state your name and occupation. My name is Emma Skye. My occupation? I'm Lana's little sister, and I want to be a scientific investigator. 2 years ago, you encountered the serial killer Joe Dark, of the Joe Dark killings. Is this correct? Yes. Poor girl. She's having to relive her memories so we can get to the truth. Do feel incredibly sorry for her. I'm trying my hardest to forget about that, though. I'm sorry, but I'm afraid I'm going to have to ask you to recall those events one more time. Mr. Edgeworth, please remember this trial concerns the murder of Detective Goodman. Is an incident that was resolved 2 years ago really all that relevant? Yes. It most certainly is. Well, okay then. You sure gave in fast. Now, please testify about what happened to you 2 years ago. The trip to yesteryear has finally begun. It's bound to lead to the truth behind this trial. Bum bum bum! Oh, I'm so ready. My body is ready. 2 years ago. I was waiting in my sister's office that day. A man came running in and took me hostage. Neil Marshall rescued me. But I'll never forget what I saw that instant. Oh dear. The man raised up his knife and stabbed Mr. Marshall in the chest. How the hell would he get him in the chest from that angle? Whatever. It's a good thing you weren't harmed. It looked like it had gone in his shoulder or his neck. Does not look like he would be able— wait, I suppose he could bring it round into the chest. I passed out, I don't remember much. That's understandable. However, please tell me, Mr. Edgeworth. What does this testimony have to do with Detective Goodman's murder? That will soon become apparent, Your Honor. You've got to admire him for his courage, considering he has no evidence. Very well, the defense may begin its cross-examination. Yeah! 2 years ago. Okay. 2 years ago, the defendant was a detective at the police department, correct? Yes. She was second in command under Chief Detective Gant. My sister. She was the best detective ever. Yes, I remember. Chief Detective Gant and Miss Skye used to be quite the pair. I believe they shared the same office. That's right. I'd always sit at my sister's desk. Whoa. And dream about playing that organ. I wanted to play it that day too. The police department and the prosecutor's office held a ceremony that day. Lana promised to take me to dinner after she finished with her work. A man came running in. A man? Yes, Joe Dark. He was a serial killer. Joe Dark was brought in for questioning on the day of that ceremony. We were desperate to get anything on him that would lead to an arrest. When he saw his chance, he fled the room, right? Upon fleeing the room, Dark proceeded to take the elevator. He must have been in a panic because the elevator was going up. Then he ran into Skye and Gant's office. There was a lot of noise coming from outside, so I opened up the door to have a look. That's when I saw him. Oof. He rescued her. What was the prosecutor doing there? That day there were two people present during Dark's questioning. Detective Damon Gant and Prosecutor Neil Marshall. Gant was there too? Neil Marshall had just received the King of Prosecutors Award. Young and dedicated, he went straight to the questioning room after the ceremony. You see, that would be why he was the first to run after Dark. When Dark grabbed me, I thought I was as good as dead. And that's when Prosecutor Marshall came running in. I don't clearly remember what happened then, but she'll never forget what she saw that instant. Can you tell us about that? Mr. Marshall jumped on Dark, and then the lights went out. The lights? It was just about this time of year. There was a terrible storm going on, and lightning struck nearby. So the electricity went out? Wait a minute. If it was pitch dark in that room, you shouldn't have been able to see anything, right? Right, but just then lightning flashed again outside. That sudden flash left an unforgettable image of the scene in my mind. You see? I told the detective about what I saw then. The detective? Yes, Detective Goodman. He was in charge of the case. Detective Bruce Goodman. The victim. Him or? So you spoke with Detective Goodman about this 2 years ago? Yes. That's what's so scary about this trial. When you told Detective Goodman about what you saw? Yes, but at the time, the words just couldn't come out. That's why I drew a picture. A picture? Yes, I think she mentioned that before. Well, Mr. Wright, have you heard enough? Ask about the picture. This picture the witness drew. I believe it has a very important meaning. But the list of evidence I was given 2 years ago didn't contain a picture. Witness, would you mind if we added this statement to your testimony? Yes, Your Honor. I drew a picture of that scene once, but it seems to have been lost. Oh, no it isn't. It's on the back of this. Where is it? Oh, 4 bloody pages. Just make sure. Whoop, whoop. Yep, there it is. 2, go. Oh yeah. Mr. Edgeworth? This little girl put all her heart into drawing that picture. And yet you still insist on denying its existence? Oh, blah, blah. Hey, I'm not the bad guy. All I'm saying is that as the prosecutor for that case, I wasn't handed such a picture. That may well be, but that doesn't mean it doesn't exist. Behold, this is the evidence list for the SL9 incident. Please turn it over. I can't talk today. Turn it over, Your Honor. Turn it over. Turn it... Ah! What's this? Ah, nice. Side-on view. Yes, what is that? Hey, that's it. That's the picture I drew. Why is she so happy about it? You'd think she'd still be devastated about what she witnessed, but whatever. Indeed, 2 men appear to be wrestling here. Are you kidding me? What's the meaning of this? What are you doing with that list? Me? Only the prosecutor in charge should have access to that list. Huh? These lists, they're different from each other. What? It would appear, Mr. Edgeworth, that the evidence list you were handed 2 years ago was incomplete. These 2 lists fit together to form one. You can see the marks here, where they were torn apart from each other. So you see, Mr. Edgeworth, it's quite obvious what happened. 2 years ago, only half of the evidence in that case ever reached you. What? What? Order, order. Who'd have thought the picture would have been drawn on the back of the list? That was handed to Detective Goodman in the questioning room. Wait a minute. If this list was torn in half, then that means... Yeah, smack the desk. Your Honor. Are you alright, Mr. Wright? Your eyes are bulging from your head. If the evidence list was torn in half, then there might be more of the drawing on the back of Mr. Edgeworth's list. Oh. I never even... That didn't even occur. That's quite conceivable, Mr. Edgeworth. It's possible. Let's see. Whoa. What is that? Is something wrong? Do you even have to ask? What the fuck? Is Edgeworth gonna have a breakdown? Oh. Sorry, Your Honor. There is something drawn on the back of my list. This is that thing. The Blue Badger. I hate the music. It's so creepy. That's that thing. That thing that was dancing in the evidence room. Apparently, the head of criminal affairs used this for his blueprint. I guess he was out of scrap paper. Evidence list has been completed and updated. Hot damn. Very well. Witness? Will you please testify about this picture you drew 2 years ago? Huh? Oh, yes sir, Your Honor. What's wrong with Emma? She seemed to be thinking about something when she saw the picture. Okay. Let's get to the bottom of this. Whew. Emma's picture. This is the picture I drew 2 years ago. The flash of lightning was so bright all I could see were shadows. After that I must have fainted. This picture shows exactly what I saw that instant. Wow, that was incredibly brief. To think a flash of lightning could burn such an image into your mind. Thanks to that, though, she was able to show us exactly what she saw. I don't see any contradictions here. This clearly shows Joe Dark about to murder prosecutor Neil Marshall. The defense may now begin its cross-examination. Right. This is a picture I drew 2 years ago. Press everything! Did you draw this picture right after the incident? I think I drew it 2 or 3 days later. At first I was in such a state of shock that I couldn't do anything. During that time, the detective team was reorganized. Detective Goodman was placed in charge, under the direction of Damon Gant and Lana Skye. 2 or 3 days later. The memory should still have been fresh in her mind. Excuse me, witness. Oh. But can you please tell us why this picture is painted all black? The flash of light... Oh, okay. So at the time you didn't even know it was Mr. Marshall who had come to your rescue? No, I couldn't see him clearly. The lightning was so bright, and I was knocked to the floor. You were knocked to the floor? Dark had a tight grip on me, but when Mr. Marshall jumped on him... Ooh, I was knocked away. I turned around, and that's when the lightning flashed. I mean, you can kind of see them. Kind of. All you can really see is their facial features and... not facial features, their hairstyle. And their outfit. Poor Emma. I'm just glad she wasn't hurt. What happened after the lightning flashed? She must have fainted. You mean you didn't see the actual murder take place? No. I'm sorry. Jesus. The flash of lightning only drove off the darkness for a split second. Not only that, but the trauma of the situation understandably caused the witness to faint. Yeah, that is understandable. Do you really need to torture this girl any farther? Further? What? Hey, I'm not the bad guy here. Anyway, this picture shows exactly what I saw this instant. Okay. Sorry for asking so many times, but are you sure you drew exactly what you saw? Of course, this is the exact scene. It wasn't influenced in any way from your talks with the detectives. You insinuating we somehow manipulated her memory, Mr. Wright? No, of course not. I'd better watch out, or he might find some way to cut my salary. I drew this picture before I heard anything from the detectives, so I don't think anyone's story would have influenced me. Is there something that's bothering you about this picture? Huh? Oh well. That's strange. She claims this is exactly the scene that was imprinted on her mind, in her mind, and yet... there's clearly a contradiction here. So there's a contradiction with this picture. I'm just like, what? I nearly presented that. That would have been stupid. No, it won't be this. Stabbed in the back. Died from punctured heart and lung. Oh, he was stabbed in the back. That would make sense. Under 10 minutes, single stab wound. Weapon was found in wound, missing the tip. Oh, is it because she's holding something? Oh, he's displayed something square? Or rectangular. Looks like he's using a ruler. Hate to be the bearer of bad news, but this picture the witness drew contains a blatant contradiction. What? But I still remember it just like it was yesterday. Mr. Wright, perhaps it would be faster if you simply pointed out this contradiction for us. What part of this picture contradicts the autopsy report? Oh shit. Boom, boom, boom. The contradiction, of course, lies here. Take a look at the knife the man is holding. If you look closely, you can see the tip is broken. In fact, you don't even have to look closely to see that. But Mr. Wright, look at the evidence. See the murder weapon? Its tip is broken too. If I recall, the tip of the knife was found broken off in the victim's body. It was the conclusive piece of evidence that proved Joe Dark was the murderer. No, it wasn't. I'm afraid it's not so simple, Emma. Fuck's sake, Edgeworth. Huh? Where could you possibly see a problem? It's obvious, really. The victim suffered a single stab wound to the back. If the victim was only stabbed once, then the murder weapon should not yet be broken. Ah! What's the meaning of this? Jesus. Perhaps the knife was broken beforehand. Oh my god. Sorry, but I'm afraid that's not possible. The tip of the knife was found inside the victim's body. If it was broken beforehand, it couldn't possibly wind up there. That's right, but what does this mean? Fuck's sake, Edgeworth. The tip of the knife was undeniably discovered within the victim's body. The only possible explanation is the witness's memory is mistaken. Wow, we're just playing objection tennis. Objection! 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 Hold it! Take that! That's why I asked her so many times if she was sure she remembered correctly. I believe you were annoyed at the time. But she was sure she remembered correctly. But there's no other way to explain this inconsistency. Jesus. Not so fast, Mr. Edgeworth. There is another explanation. Have you forgotten already? About a little something called falsified evidence? You're treading on thin ice, right? All I'm saying is that this broken knife might be the piece of evidence that was forged. Ah, yeah. You can't deny the possibility. That would be true. No. Ah. What, so they'd place it inside his body? It's a bit fucked up. Or would they just say they found it in his body? Order, order, order. You're saying the investigation really was corrupted? Your Honor, please allow me to once again go over the events that took place the day of the murder. The police department and the prosecutor's office were holding a ceremony that day. After receiving the King of Prosecutors Award at the ceremony, Neil Marshall questioned Joe Dark along with Damon Gant. During his questioning, Joe Dark fled the room. Prosecutor Marshall chased after him and was killed by Dark. It is my belief that somewhere in this story, there is a lie. I'm not lying. The man really was holding up a broken knife. If that's true, then there's no other way around it. This could not have been the actual murder weapon. There must have been another broken knife. What are the chances of there being two broken knives? Another broken knife besides Joe Dark's. Could there have been one? There is. If the witness is this adamant about the accuracy of what she saw, it can't just be explained away by a simple observational error. Mr. Wright. In that instant, Emma really did see a broken knife. I assume then that you have some information about this other broken knife? If so, please feel free to enlighten us. The murder weapon was already broken prior to the murder. There's only one way. Take a look at this. Here's the real murder weapon. I mean, the team photo. Because after this incident, the knife that's on the prosecutor's, or the halberd end that's on the prosecutor's trophy is no longer on it. Like after that incident. The answer lies in the past. 2 years in the past. Right here inside this picture. This is a picture of the award ceremony. What is it, Mr. Edgeworth? It's the broken murder weapon. Notice the award Prosecutor Marshall is holding? Dun dun dun! That's a broken knife. As we earlier concluded, the knife in the picture was not Joe Dark's knife. That being the case, the knife the witness saw was in all likelihood this award. Gee. Order! Neil Marshall was awarded King of Prosecutors that day. As an award, he was given this broken shield and a broken knife. When he chased after Joe Dark, he pulled out this knife. Being a prosecutor, he did not carry a pistol. This broken knife was the weapon he had in this dangerous situation. But that can't be. Oh, and why not, Mr. Edgeworth? Because if the King of Prosecutors Award knife was the murder weapon, then the murderer and the victim would be reversed. What do you mean? I mean, this man raising a knife would have been Prosecutor Neil Marshall. Oh. Oh! But the prosecutor was the one who actually died. That's true. What's going on here? It's all over the place, man. It seems Mr. Wright has been a bit too eager to jump to conclusions. Hold it. Wait, who is this? Wait, I remember now. I remember everything. Witness? Mr. Edgeworth. What is it? Ooh. Ooh. Could you show me your evidence list again, please? His list? The one with that picture scribbled on the back? Oh, pardon me. I knew it. This picture. I'm the one who drew it. What? You drew that? That's right. The list wasn't torn in half at the time I drew this picture. Oh! All this time, I've been trying so hard to forget. I must have locked this part away deep inside me. Perhaps it would be best if we added this to the witness's testimony. Would you please tell us what you've recalled, Miss Skye? Yes, Your Honor. Sheesh, this must be super hard on her. First the knife mix-up, and now the blue badger? It should be interesting. Indeed. Hot damn. Okay. Emma's recollection. When I saw that man raise his knife, I panicked and rushed towards both of them. I think I knocked away the man with the knife. Just then there was another flash of lightning, and that's when I saw the blue badger. He wasn't in the room, but I'm sure I saw his shadow. That's fucking terrifying. Ugh. This is most certainly unusual. Oh. Certainly most unusual. Nothing like switching words around. Try impossible. The head detective of criminal affairs didn't even design him until this year. That would mean he didn't even exist 2 years ago. Yes, well, the defense may now begin its cross-examination. Hold it. What the oh my Christ. Oh. Stop, please. Don't pursue this any further. Lana, what's the meaning of this? Please remain seated in the defendant's chair. But you can't do this. I've already confessed to the crime. Why can't you just leave it at that? Chief Prosecutor Sky? Sit the fuck down. We've already come this far. It's too late to turn back. Oh! Silence. The defense will now begin its cross-examination. Bailiff, please detain the defendant. It seems we're finally getting to the core of the matter. Ooh! The fact that Lana doesn't want us to go any further means there's something that is hidden. So when I saw that man raise his knife... Which man? When you say that man, I assume you refer to Joe Dark. Yes, at least I think it was him. You think? All I could really see were shadows. The power outage that immediately preceded the incident is also documented in the prosecutor's office reports. So then you... panicked and rushed towards him? Why would you do something so dangerous? What else could I have done? He was about to stab Mr. Marshall. She seems convinced that Dark was the one holding the knife. But as we've just theorized, Mr. Marshall was the one holding the knife. But I didn't know that at the time. When that Dark guy knocked me down, all I could think was, I've got to help Mr. Marshall. I think I knocked away the man with the knife. What do you mean you think? It all happened so fast. And I was in shock. I don't remember everything clearly. What I did, it's all kind of a blur. In a matter of just a few seconds, Miss Sky was almost killed. Then she witnessed a murder about to take place. A little disorientation is only natural. I saw the man about to stab the other person, who I thought was Mr. Marshall. I knew I had to stop the man with the knife. What you did was very brave, young girl. So then, what happened next? There was another flash of lightning, and that's when I saw the blue badger. Are you sure about this? Of course. See? I even drew a picture of him there. Or here. But the head detective of criminal affairs thought up this hideous beast. And that was just this year. The blue badger didn't exist 2 years ago. This is all quite verifiable. I know it sounds strange, I was surprised too when I saw him at the police department. I had this nagging feeling that I'd seen him before somewhere. Now I finally remember. Oh brother, just when you thought that thing had caused enough commotion. Tell us, where in the room did you see him dancing? Wasn't in the room, I'm sure I saw his shadow. So, his shadow? So you mean you didn't actually see his face without its winning smile and all? That's right, but I still remember it. He had 3 creepy horns. 3 creepy horns. Okay, this is pointless. That thing couldn't have possibly existed 2 years ago. The witness must be mistaken. Jesus Christ, we're going all over the place. That may well be. But what's important is what caused her to think she saw what she did. Oh? And I suppose you have an explanation? What the heck? If so, then by all means, please tell us what the shadow really what? I'm just focusing. Oh, I see. I think. What was it Emma saw when that lightning flashed? The jar thing. Who was this blue badger really? I just might know. The jar thingamajig, because that had 2 handles on either side, and then a bulbous thing on the top of it. The blue badger hadn't even been dreamt up when Emma drew this picture. Yet she's certain she saw its shadow. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it is the defence's belief that on that fateful day 2 years ago, there indeed was something that looked similar to the blue badger. Something that is now sitting in this very room. Mr. Wright? In this room? Very well, Mr. Wright. What is it that the witness saw in that instant? Please show us the mysterious blue badger lookalike. I mean, I'm going to check it first, just to verify. This thing. Check it. I mean, I don't see the thing on the top, that's all. But that could definitely be it. Although it is definitely missing the top bit. Oh, wait. I mean, if it's like that, maybe. No, it's not like that either. Crap. Either way, that's my only idea. Go! The mysterious blue badger was, in fact, this. But that's... what exactly is that? I believe it's some sort of jar. But Mr. Wright, that doesn't look anything like the blue badger. Indeed it doesn't. As it stands now, it's just a plain jar. However, what if we were to change our viewpoint? Our viewpoint